5 costly retirement mistakes to avoid at all costs. Got that? At all costs, it says. In this article, it says to do retirement right, you need, by the way, need, that's kind of a charged word for me. It should always be followed with in order to. Because do you need to eat? Well, only in order to live. Do you need a car? Only if you want to drive instead of walk. But a lot of people like to confuse wants and needs, and they start saying need, which can be a little bit victim-y and kind of a calling card if someone wants something from you. To do retirement right, you need a disciplined savings plan, a good understanding of Social Security, a sound investment strategy, and a vision of retirement that provides for adequate, vision and adequate don't seem to work, self-fulfillment without overspending your fixed income budget. I hate budgets. Budgeting sucks. Pay yourself first and then live off the rest. Behind those simple principles lies a complex set of ways it can all go wrong, ranging from borrowing against your 401k to taking up smoking late in life. There are certain things, though, that you'll want to make sure to avoid at all costs. A financial advisor can help you with your retirement on track. Maybe, maybe not. Doing retirement right and wrong, it says. It is certainly not impossible or even rare to achieve a financially secure and rewarding retirement. People over age 65, in fact, are much less likely to live in actual poverty than those still working, according to the Census Bureau. Well, first off, Census Bureau in this thing, the U.S. Department of Labor says 95% of people are not financially independent at age 65. That sucks. Can't stop working and live the same lifestyle. They have to take less or keep working. This says, and retirees surveyed by the Employee Benefit Research Institute, or EBRI, in 2022, rated their satisfaction with life and retirement at an average of 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. It's interesting if we went to 2023 after having a big decline in 2022, if those numbers stayed the same. That does not, however, mean there's no way to go wrong. After all, more than 1 in 10 retirees do live in poverty. Per census, and 27% of EBRI's respondents said their spending was much higher or a little higher than they could afford. Okay, 27%, much higher or a little higher than they could afford. So it says these are the 5 retirement mistakes to avoid. Every retiree's case is a little different. Oh, no shit. And it's likely that the people who aren't having a great retirement have a multitude of stories about how things didn't turn out well. Still, we can make some useful generalizations about most important retirement mistakes to avoid. Here are 5 of the worst. If you're ready to be matched with local advisors, click here. Failing to plan, what? If you plan to fail, you fail to plan. Okay, come on. It says the biggest single error mistake may be pretending retirement won't ever arrive for a large majority of people. It does. About 67.8% of men born in 1980 will live to age 65, according to the Social Security Administration. For women, the figure's 80.9. By the way, first off, good job, women. Kicking men's 80.9 versus 67.8. Pretty good. Not planning to retire encourages more mistakes, like failing to budget, save and invest to fund living expenses later in life when working becomes difficult or impossible. It's worth noting that the EBRI survey found lower senses of well-being and satisfaction for those who, among other traits, did not use a financial advisor. They found lower senses of well-being and satisfaction. Like to see the details on that. It seems a little general. Mismanaging tax advantage retirement plans. Okay, it says tax advantage, but I want to be clear. Tax deferred isn't always tax advantaged. What if you deferred into a higher tax rate in the future because the government raised tax brackets because they're $31.4 trillion in debt? Well, okay, what about that? It says you got to get a maximum employer match is one of the worst retirement savings moves you can make. Not getting that? Well, what if you have really high interest rate loans and it might be better to pay that off? Or investing in yourself so you can increase your value, or hiring an employee if you're an entrepreneur. Maybe that would take precedent over this, but again, they are only thinking as a financial advisor and how they get paid, which is the stock market. It says close behind that could be borrowing from a plan and failing to pay it back. Another worst move rival is taking early withdrawals that subject you to a costly penalty. Well, what if you take an early withdrawal, pay a 10% penalty, but it was a unique situation. Someone was in distress. You bought a piece of real estate and they just needed to offload it so it didn't get foreclosed on, and you immediately had a 50% gain a year later. That happens when people are in distress. That happens in crazy markets. And yet it's saying it's the worst, most costly thing. They're not considering what other options you have. They're not thinking about opportunity cost. And by the way, that 10% penalty is a one-time penalty. Imagine if I gave you a loan and I said, I'll only charge you 10% the first year, but I'll never charge you for the rest of the time. You got to think about the opportunity cost and what you could be doing with that money. It says investing retirement plans exclusively in shares of your employer. Okay, I agree. Instead of diversifying, also ranks high as a seriously risky and potentially catastrophic error. Same page. It says messing up Social Security when it comes to nearly universally available, almost perfectly reliable ways to fund retirement, nothing compares to Social Security. To qualify for monthly benefits as long as you live after reaching the age of eligibility. Well, as long as they can afford it, because they've used every dollar that's in Social Security and there isn't anything in there, so they're just keeping the Ponzi scheme going. It says all you have to do is work the required number of years while contributing through mandatory payroll taxes. This apparently simplicity makes some complexities, though, and failing to navigate them can take the shine off your retirement. For example, if one member of a retired married couple dies, the survivor must carry on just one monthly check, the larger of the two. For this reason, the higher earning partner should wait to claim benefits. I don't agree waiting to claim benefits as long as possible, because, again, what about the opportunity cost at 62 versus 70, 62 versus 67? What is that money worth? What if you could earn 5% on it? It's that money plus 5%. And what if you take that and then you died at 68? Well, at least you just got 6 years versus nothing, especially if you were single. So I don't love this idea. I think we have to think of the time value of money and what that money means to you along the way. And what if Social Security eventually can't pay or has to cut benefits? It says emotional investing. The investment field almost seems designed to punish people who make investment decisions based upon feelings of fear and greed. For instance, if you get rattled in Social Securities during a bear market to convert to safe-seeming cash, you're effectively locking in losses and making it harder to participate in any future upturn. By the way, this is a financial advisor. Hey, you got to buy when the market's down, buy when the market's flat, buy when the market's up, just hold off, wait because it's always going to bounce back. Never looking at what volatility does to the impact of your overall psyche, to your overall performance, and to set it and forget it and just wait. What happens if some of those companies don't make it and they go bankrupt? What if technology, AI, puts them out of business? This is just the notion of, hey, you just got to stick with it because they're always being paid when you're invested. They're not being paid when you're in cash. We have a conflict of interest here. This is studies have shown the best approach is to stay fully invested through good times and bad. Trying to time the market, especially on the basis of your emotions, is one of the least promising investment strategies you can have. Well, I disagree. There was an article that Malcolm Gladwell did in the New Yorker where he talked about Ted Turner sitting in cash and then pouncing when there was distress, when the economies were bad. You know, if people would have bought after one of the hurricanes in Puerto Rico, they got a $2 million property that's worth $20 million right now. If they were in cash, they could do that. If they weren't, the economy was suffering and they're like, I don't want to, I got to just stick with it. So what happens when you have safety and protection? If you go to CFB or cashflowbanking.gg, there's a whole system where you can store your cash, not have to participate in the downside, get dividends, but then use that cash when the opportunities come. So you're staying invested, but not participating in the downside, and then capitalize when great opportunities are there. This is just saying be in the stock market and the stock market alone. This says focusing only on the financial side of retirement. Retirement is only partly about money. You also need to find ways to fill the time spent working, preferably in ways to maintain and improve your health or enrich your life. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. A 2018 National Bureau of Economic Research found male mortality increases by about 2% at age 62, a common age for retirement. This increase is smaller for women, doesn't appear all for either sex at the ages. So while retirement seems to cause more deaths isn't clear. However, most of the increased deaths are due to traffic accidents and lung cancer and other respiratory conditions tied to smoking, which other studies tend to go up with jobs lost at any age. No amount of being smart about employer matches can help you if you're not around to enjoy it. Like, part of this is have purpose. You lose purpose, it's death. My grandpa died. That was kind of my grandma's purpose. She died shortly after, even though she's really healthy. Keep your purpose. Don't retire from purpose. Find something you can be engaged in now and in the future. And even if you start doing less of it in the future, stay engaged in life and in the world of value creation. Never retire from value creation. This says the worst retirement mistakes are probably not planning to retire at all. I don't ever want to retire, but I want financial independence now and in the future, so I focused on cash flow along the way. It says failing to take full advantage of retirement savings plans. I don't have retirement savings plans because I have some real estate, a lot of intellectual property, and a business. Like, that creates my cash flow. And I want to build a business that I don't ever want to leave because I have the right infrastructure, right? This says mismanaging Social Security. I guess it says taking it too early. But I think, again, what's your opportunity cost? What could you do with that money? It says making poor investment decisions and neglecting the non-financial side of retirement. Well, what are poor investment decisions? It says just stay invested at all times. It says it's possible to avoid all of these, however, by being aware of the potential for costly errors and taking some relatively simple and well-proven steps to counteract them. So it says the retirement planning tips. You have a better chance of avoiding errors and planning for your retirement when you work with a financial advisor. Oh, guess what? Just financial advisor. Start early. Check out these free tools. Again, financial advisor, financial advisor, financial advisor. You cannot let someone else care more about your finances than you. You have to have a framework where you pay yourself first and where you understand what's going on with your finances and you increase your financial intelligence. If an advisor educates you and supports you and you know why you're doing what you're doing and it's options other than only the stock market and it's focused on cash flow and efficiency, that's the game changer. So look, I've got books. You should grab these books. Killing Sacred Cows to Avoid the 9 Myths, like what we've heard in this article. And even what would the Rockefellers do, which is a simple way to start saving money like the Rockefellers do, but you don't have to be worth what they're worth. It's GarrettGunderson.com/offer. Look in the show notes. I want to give you resources and the tools to support you so you have a better financial life. And part of that is knowing your money persona. So if this is helpful to start to discern truth from falsehood and see through the garbage that they get us to think, stock market, stock market, stock market, budget, invest early, all this kind of stuff. Wait till retirement to enjoy life. If you want to enjoy life along the way and you want to build a life you don't want to retire from, this is the channel for you. If you don't, just tell me to pound sand, whatever it is. I'll respond to your comments, even if they're mean. It's all good. I still wish you well and want you to build the life that you love. Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And if you're enjoying these videos, well, there's good news. More where that came from, so go ahead and click through and watch the next video now.